Lagos State government announces traffic diversion ahead City Marathon. Federal government cautions Labour against threats to declare nationwide strike. Out of Warrington, 2 people die, hundreds injured in clashes over India mosque demolition. And in sport, Formula Nigerian International urges Super Eagles coach to re-strategize ahead final AFCON match against Cote d'Ivoire. And now the details. I am Mike James. The Lagos government has issued a traffic advisory ahead tomorrow's Lagos City Marathon between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m. The following routes will be temporarily unavailable to motorists during the marathon: Finshaw Williams Avenue from Stadium, Surulere, Ikorodu Road to Anthony Bagada to 3rd Mainland Bridge, inbound and outbound 3rd Mainland Bridge, Dolphin Road to Alfred Rumani Road, Falamo Road to Bordelon Road, Lekki Bridge to Freedom Way, Akianeshola to Amadu Bello Way. Meanwhile, motorists can make use of Akmongbo Bridge, Inozeko Bridge through Costain Roundabout, Ikmori and Bode Thermos, Ikoro Bridge through Costain Roundabout and Apapa Road to link Oyibo, Jeba to access Habat Macaulay. Also, motorists can go through Victoria Island to link Independence Bridge and CMS Bridge to access Akmongbo, Inward Ijora Olokma, Ido and Owibo to connect Habat Macaulay Road to continue their journeys. A statement issued by the Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, said all outbound journeys from Ikorodu Road, Finshaw Williams Avenue, on Lagos Island are exempted from the diversion. Oshiemi noted that the 3rd Mainland Bridge will not be available to motorists from 12 a.m. tonight till the end of the marathon. In line with its policy on bridge maintenance and management and global quality assurance and quality control practices, the Lagos government has commenced routine maintenance works on pedestrian and vehicular bridges in the state. Special advisor to the governor on infrastructure, Olufemi Darmola, stated this while inspecting the extent of ongoing works on Kodeso Bridge in Ikeja local government area of the state. He urged stakeholders to support the contractors on site to ensure timely delivery of the maintenance works. While reiterating the commitment of the government to the timely delivery of the project, the special advisor said the state government is not unmindful of the inconvenience the maintenance works would have on commuters, appealing for patience and cooperation from the motoring public. Darmola affirmed the Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration's commitment towards infrastructure upgrade in the state. The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has vowed to sustain the Operation Zero Potholes and Connect to Your Destination campaigns launched in December 2023. The campaigns were aimed at eradicating all potholes in the country's federal and state highways, as well as reconnecting stranded communities cut off from other areas by virtue of the failing status of the road. FEMA Managing Director Emeka Agbasi said this at the end of a 3-day inspection of rehabilitated Port Harcourt Osiokmu Elili Umerilu Imo State border road, Mbiama Junction section of the East-West Road and others in Rivers, Bayelsa, and the Etiabak Road in Akwa Ibom State. Agbasi, who was represented by the Director, Roads Maintenance and Management Services, FEMA, headquarters Abuja, in Yobong Usoro, said with the campaigns, bad roads would soon be a thing of the past in Nigeria. And over to the rest of the stories. The federal government has disagreed with the organized labor and its threat to declare a nationwide strike in the next 14 days over the alleged failure of the government to implement the Memorandum of Understanding reached with the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress in October 2023. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, in an interview, asked the unions to exercise restraint and allow the government to address their grievances. Idris declined to comment on whether the government will take a court injunction to stop the strike. After the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu, the labor unions reached a 16-point agreement with the federal government on measures to cushion the pains of the subsidy removal on workers. The National Assembly has been advised to review and implement rents control law to ease economic burden and reduce housing deficit in Nigeria. Former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who said this during his book launch titled Nigerian Public Discourse, The Interplay of Empirical Evidence and Hyperbole, charged state legislatures to follow the steps already taken by the Lagos State government. Fashola noted that data with content is transferred to knowledge, which later results into wisdom through decisions that will assist the nation building. You have this to say.
I'm truly honored to have you all here to share the experience of what I call a self-inflicted literary adventure. Data can be subjective and it can be manipulated, but there's some data that you cannot run away from, as we have seen. Accurate data, therefore, will be beneficial for us. For me, a life without shortages of basic needs like food, like water, like shelter and energy will be a good life. And data is critical to this objective.
Also, President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, commended Fashola for his contribution and dedication to national service, saying that social media is a menace that needs to be regulated and channeled to influence positive decision-making.
Amidst global turmoil, we are at home confronted by difficult policy choices and decisions that must be made to ensure our children's future and our country's prospect. Now, in this historical moment, as we confront and overcome the challenges that threaten our future, we have an obligation as leaders in politics and government to engage in evidence-based discourse and data-reliant decision-making. But as citizens interested in the issues of state and government, the obligation is even more significant to ensure that our engagement with each other springs from a shared agreement on what truth is, what is real and what isn't.
On his part, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said proper data analysis is important to developing national policy, as no nation can succeed without data. Someone who was represented by his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, urged journalists to stay away from sensational news stories.
For a developing country, you cannot succeed without data. So, well, you might say the way you dice it, we might be biased, we don't trust each other. Majority of what's on social media, where do we get that information from? So, unfortunately, a lot of them are true. A lot of them are also the false. The question for us is, how do we use it? And that's why somebody on that panel said there must be a regulatory framework. So, if we can come together to do that, I think we get all the positives. But as it is now, it's just a jungle.
An academic consultant and author, Opeyemi Agbaje, who reviewed the book, applauded Fashola for his intellectual capacity and also advised the public that fiction, rumors and myths cause damage and destroys governance. Our reporter Sadiq Yusuf reports that the event attracted dignitaries, including former Minister of Interior Ralph Aregbesola and his counterpart from the Ministry of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, past and present federal and state executive council members, traditional rulers, among others. And to foreign news, at least 4 people have died in violence in a northern Indian state after authorities demolished a mosque, alleging it was constructed illegally. Violence broke out in Uttarakhand Haldwani town during what police say was an anti-encroachment drive. Authorities said the drive was launched to clear illegal constructions, including the mosque and an adjoining religious school. But Muslims who prayed at the mosque say they have been unfairly targeted. Hundreds of protesters and police personnel were injured in the clashes which broke out on Thursday evening. And in sports news, former Nigerian international Friday Ekpo has advised Super Eagles coach Jose Peseiro to deploy another game plan ahead of Sunday's 2023 Africa Cup of Nations final match against Cote d'Ivoire. According to Ekpo, this is crucial for the Super Eagles to clinch the final against Cote d'Ivoire on Sunday, following their victory over the Bafana Bafana of South Africa in the semi-final clash. Evaluating the team's progress, Ekpo remarked on their noticeable improvement from one match to another, asserting that they are performing well and are in a good position entering the final. And that was our news at 12. But just before we go, slow down at road junctions, intersections and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961, Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, and on YouTube. Subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration trained 280 unemployed youths for global certification on solar farm construction technology for the supply of electricity in Nigeria? Well, you can hear more details on the Lagos State Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Government has issued a traffic advisory ahead tomorrow's Lagos City Marathon between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m. The federal government has disagreed with the organized labor and its threat to declare a nationwide strike in the next 14 days over the alleged failure of the government to implement the Memorandum of Understanding reached with the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress in October 2023. We also told you that at least 4 people have died in violence in a northern Indian state after authorities demolished a mosque, alleging it was constructed illegally. And then in sport from Nigeria International, Friday Ekpu has advised Super Eagles coach Ose Pesero to deploy another game plan ahead of Sunday's 2023 Africa Cup of Nations final match against Cote d'Ivoire. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagosstates.gov.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adirayo Dogu Olaya. Thank you so much, Lagos, for listening and for joining us on Highway 961. Beautiful Friday afternoon to you. It's now time for me to step aside for Micah Arocha, who will be here shortly to bring you GNI on Go. Have a wonderful time, Lagos. Bye for now.